The nation's number one talk station, 99.3 Nigeria Info, Lagos, Nigeria. Good morning to you. Thank you for tuning in and thank you for joining us. Welcome to Dailies today, the second part. The first part usually starts around 6:15 in the morning. Then we'll take a break, bring you sport at 7. Then we'll come back at 7:30. And we're back here now. It's 7:30 on the clock. I'm Sheriff Quadry.
I'm Jimi. Disu. Good morning.
You can watch us live on Facebook. We're also live on YouTube. Please drop your comment as we take these stories early enough. So before we leave the stories, I can just take your comments before we leave the stories. Okay. All right. Thank you. We're going to start with this one here. In our news, from our news, Julius Abure returns as Labour Party chairman. The story reads that Julius Abure and 3 suspended officials of the Labour Party, they've returned to the party secretariat in Abuja to assume their various posts. At a press conference for journalists held at the secretariat, Abure informed the media that the party had appealed the FCT High Court's decision to suspend him. He said that the FCT High Court no longer has jurisdiction over their case. That's our first story.
Yeah, okay. And I hope sanity will prevail. It is important for all the actors in this appeal. What do they call it now?
Yeah. They've appealed the case.
Yes, all the actors, all the lawyers, the politicians. It's first of all important for them to know that the nation is holding its breath. The nation is holding its breath. And I don't know whether, those for or against are 50-50 or what, but you are talking of humongous numbers of Nigerians. Some Nigerians, not their livelihood, but their future depends on the result of this tribunal. And therefore, it should be taken with seriousness. Anybody who claims to have a national spirit should put his own his own personal whatever, put it aside for the benefit of the nation. It's in that light that I was totally aghast at what I don't know, is it Alaji or what Mr. Papa Papa did yesterday. The whole world is holding his breath. So what did you want to happen? You wanted to stall proceedings? And if you were a full party man and you say you are the chairman, this tribunal is determining the fate of your party. So you could easily have put your personal whatever it is aside. When you get the results of whatever it is, then you can continue with fighting your case. But that didn't happen. And honestly, it was in that light that I didn't even condemn those who took his cap. Not that I supported them, but neither did I condemn them. And for those who are so critical about my not condemning them, I'm not here. I'm not a policeman. I'm just here to give comments. And what he did, the way he carried himself, it was an override on all other issues. Personally, I'm asking myself, because I now did some back check on him. He said he was an Obi supporter. He was an obedient. How would you want Obi to win at the tribunal with what you're doing? I believe he was a saboteur to Obi's cause. That's the way I look at it. Maybe you don't look at it that way, but honestly, because he would have sabotaged the cause of this guy. So I'm glad about this. Not so much whether I want Obi to win or not, but look, all of us want closure on this. Even the APC would like closure on this so that they can concentrate on governance. So for now, what's his name now?
Abure
is the current chairman. This man threatened that he will come today. I hope he doesn't. I think his family should put a call through to him and his children and tell him to go to the mosque and go back home to go and relax.
Let's go to the Punch now. Page 2 is where we are. The Punch. Tinubu's inauguration. Programs begin Thursday. FG invite over 65 world leaders.
Well, we're gradually getting there. And the Punch has a full-page story, on the inauguration. The program starts on Thursday. Okay, the program starts on Thursday. And it says that, this story says 65 world leaders, including heads of state, have been invited to grace the occasion. Okay. Also expected at the event, past presidents, diplomats, heads of international organizations, and so on and so forth. The inauguration program will begin on Thursday with the investiture of Tinubu with the GCON, and also Chetima also gets GCON. That is statutory. president and the vice president, and you can't wait for them. They can't confer the whatever on themselves. So Buhari will confer that on them.
Yeah, that's GCFR.
GCFR. Is it GCFR?
GCFR.
Egbami. It's GCFR.
Yeah.
Not GCON. I'm sorry. Okay, so if we expect representatives of traditional allies, US, UK, Saudi, and so on and so forth, it's going to be a diplomatic nightmare for those who are organizing this. So it's going to start. There's going to be an inaugural lecture, and the lecture will be held on May 27, which I think is Saturday. And the lecturer would be Uhuru Kenyatta, the former Kenyan president, who I happen to respect a lot. Other activities include the regimental dinner in honor of the commander-in-chief at the Armed Officers Mess. That would be on May 23. The valedictory Federal Executive Council meeting. I hope they don't give out contracts again on that day. At the council chambers in the villa, the public lecture and Jumat prayer at the National Mosque, Children's Day parade and party on May 27, and an interdenominational church service at the National Christian Center on May 28. Usually, if the president is a Muslim, he goes to the mosque. If the vice president is a Christian, they go, but the two of them are going to go to the mosque. Somebody will represent them at the church. Also, the inauguration dinner and gala night. Gala, I hope all of you know what gala night is.
Yes.
No. Well, the inauguration swearing in of the president-elect and vice president will take place on May 29, which I think is Upper Monday, and will be a public holiday.
Right.
And there will be a parade at the Eagle Square. There will also be a post-inaugural luncheon strictly for the president with his colleague presidents, heads of government, and guests at the State House Banquet Hall. That would be another protocol nightmare. And it says invitations are out and so on and so forth. So you have something to look forward to. Next weekend is going to be quite interesting.
Yeah, quite busy as well. Let's go to page 6 of the Punch newspaper. Lagos diverts traffic for Ijora Bridge repair.
You know, I've had one top Lagos State official, say behind my back at a public function, at some function, that, Jimi has always been unfair to Lagos State government. But that is not the case. The thing is, we can't see things going wrong and not talk about it. There's nothing personal. I don't intend to run for governor. Neither does, I don't know about him.
No, I don't think that.
I don't think so. So when we keep repeating these things, I have repeated with this gentleman here, times without number, about the danger of what is going on in Ijora. How even under the bridges now, you are having a whole village is imagined. If you descend by the National Theatre and you look to your left, what you see is some Ijora village or whatever it is. If you look under the bridge, even some blocks have gone up. Now, the bridge, as at the day before yesterday, it caved in. I mean, for God's sake, it's embarrassing. A bridge caved in. What if a car was in motion at that time? What would happen? What if it broke in two? Because anything that can cave in can break in two across. What do? We haven't treated these things responsibly. We haven't. Under our bridges, our villages that are bringing up. Now, also, there's been an alarm about crime. Every day, somebody called in this morning in Ijora that it is constant every day. People are robbed. I ask myself, if I remember very well, there was a time we had some motorbikes, some police on bikes that would meander through traffic back and forth and back and forth. We don't have them anymore. We used to have police in Mufti on the bridges. We don't have them anymore. Have we been bound to the Philistines? Are we left to our own devices? Do we start defending ourselves? Okay, do we want our citizens to be coming with their table knives and whatever to defend themselves? Because the robbery goes on in a spree. They break windscreen and so on and so forth, and then run under the bridge, which is habitable, whereas under the bridge should be clear and well lit. We plead and plead and plead and plead, with the government. Do the needful. In future, if you don't do it now, it will get to a point where it becomes impossible to do, because all kinds of things will come in. And the first one, I can assure you, will be ethnicity. So that is the way to handle these things. Anyway, because of this bridge that caved in now, Surulere bound people to and fro are now in another problem entirely. Remember that they can't go through Apapa Road. They can't go through Ojuelegba, so everybody now has to divert to Kalakuta. And those of us who have a bit more petrol to burn, we go all the way to Antony to turn to link the third mainland bridge, which itself has now become congested. But we are where we are, okay? So, pending when repairs will be carried out by the federal government, the Lagos State has alerted motorists to the failed deck on Pile Bridge at Ijora Olokpa, inbound Ijora Oloye. The following routes have been mapped out to minimize inconvenience. Motorists from the Eko Bridge are advised to utilize Igomu Sifax to access Ijora Oloye or Apapa. Motorists from Ido to Ijora Oloye Apapa will be diverted at the intersection underpass on a contraflow. I don't know where this is now, to connect at the U-turn towards Ijora Oloye or Apapa. Anyway, I hope there'll be people there to direct you. And it says that the ministry appeals to motorists who make use of the corridor to cooperate with LASMA and so on and so forth. These things can be avoided if we do the right things. They can be avoided if we do the right things. I've been on these underbridges since I started broadcasting in this studio. I keep talking about under the bridges. We had a fire, we haven't learned a lesson. Bridge has caved in, I hope we'll learn a lesson. If we don't learn a lesson, heaven help us all.
Indeed. Lulu on our live stream on YouTube says Lagos is now the confirmed capital of traffic in the world, and Governor Sanwo-Olu is less active on this. Indeed, but just caricature talks and mimicking actions, a general traffic diversion, and no way out. That's Lulu Dave on our live stream on YouTube. Let's take our next story now. This story is an editorial in the Punch newspaper. It reads, Night National Assembly, an indolent, weak rubber stamp. And I have another one here, though. Perhaps we should take this one first. Court extends Seun Kuti's remand for 4 days. Let's take this one first.
Yes. Okay. It's not easy for yes, that was what I wanted. Thank you. Okay. It's not easy for Seun Kuti. If you look, I have two papers here. Okay, I have the Punch and I have the Trust. Now the Trust says that court extends Seun Kuti's remand for 4 days, and there's a rider. We found suspicious items at his house. First, I'm a bit intrigued as to how slapping a policeman led to going to his house. But the police probably would have an explanation, but I'm still trying to figure it out in my head. And as I keep thinking about it, only one thing comes to mind, but, for maturity's sake, I'll keep it to myself until it's full-blown. The other story here, which also got me intrigued, is that SAN leads prosecution team. Court extends Seun Kuti's remand. The police were getting a senior side advocate of Nigeria to prosecute a case that everybody has seen the video. He slapped the policeman. You need a SAN to do that. Well, it's their discretion. So let's see what the story says fully. It says, the Lagos Magistrates Court on Thursday ordered further remand of Seun Kuti for an additional 4 days. That's about a week now. And we can't comment on what's going on in the court. And of course, we know he was taken to court for assaulting the policeman and so on and so forth. And the 11-man police prosecuting team, led by Simon Law, SAN, told the magistrate that investigations into the case against the singer are yet to be concluded and that more time was needed. Sheriff, I'm a bit slow this morning, but can I ask you what else could be investigated than what we have seen? He slapped the policeman. It's quite out there. So what kind of investigation do you need another 4 days for?
They were probably looking at whether they can charge him for other things. because they know that they will probably want to, because of their order from above, like getting prosecuted and all of that, they may want to build a larger case.
What is the order? Getting prosecuted or getting persecuted?
No,
What is the order?
prosecuted.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure
Yeah,
about that.
prosecuted.
Not persecuted.
No, not persecuted. Prosecuted. And they may want to see this as an opportunity to build a larger case, to use him as a scapegoat.
Well, let's look at it critically. Is that ethical? Fair enough. I don't, under no circumstances, do I condone his slapping of the policeman. Under no, it's a no. Whatever the circumstances, a no for me. But doesn't it now appear as if, because why would you? This is a crime he's supposed to have committed. Why would you want to extend it to going to his house, searching his house? I mean, what's the relation between these two? If not the fact that probably we've got to nail this guy.
Yeah, they just want to use him as a scapegoat, but then the police is forgetting the fact that they sold themselves cheap. They've always sold themselves cheap.
Yeah, and this doesn't have the police image. The police are supposed to be like Big Brother. They say that the police is your friend. So if he slapped a policeman, charge him for slapping a policeman.
They've always sold themselves to the highest bidder in this country. They've always been the ones that they've relegated their own reputation. They've destroyed their own reputation by themselves.
And this is not going to help them.
Now they want to hold another person accountable for the mistake that he made. A mistake, yes. He should go in for it, yes. But then to not want to use everything within your powers to make sure you humiliate and embarrass him, that's another level entirely. They should fault themselves for their own past actions. You attach a policeman to a guy that just hits 1 million.
1 million, yes.
And then you want respect. You won't get that respect. No matter how much drama you make out of Seun Kuti's misdemeanor, you still will not get that respect if you continue giving people your officers.
And this compounds the police image. You don't get personal in things like this.
This is personal.
This is personal. You get a son, and now you say you need an extra 4 days to investigate him. I think the police should be careful that they don't erode the little support they're getting publicly. Because the public will always sympathize with the underdog. Eventually, they will always sympathize with the underdog. With the array of support they got, that policeman that was slapped got, and everybody said no, he shouldn't have done it. You now don't want to spoil it by this. But anyway, so the judge, I think, ordered that he be remanded for an additional 4 days.
4 days, yes.
And she also said that the case file be duplicated and sent to the DPP's office, for prosecution. And that's the latest that we have. I'm sure by now the gentleman himself will be completely sober.
Yeah. Did you see the video where the police people went to his house and all of that?
I saw it, and his wife, his wife, and they took the wife's phone. The wife is not an accused person.
Yeah, they took her phone.
Why would you want to take her phone? The wife, she's not an accused person. What?
Yep.
Well, or rather, can you please then explain to us exactly what is going on? Maybe you put a call through to Hyundai.
Hyundai? No, if Hyundai needs to talk, he knows how to do it. He will go to Twitter, yeah.
We can draw him out.
Well, I'm sure he's listening. If he wants to talk, he will come.
Let's wait. Let's drag him. Let him say something.
Nah. Let's leave him. If he wants to talk, he would come and talk. He would come and talk.
If it wasn't for traffic and all kinds of things, I'd have gone to lay ambush in the gentleman's office.
Yeah?
With a recorder and a camera. It's a pity I'm no longer in active journalism, active. Erico, Eric Teniola, all of them, Toye. He will say something,
So here is the thing, yeah. I feel that no matter how much, so the people that are in government right now, they only see the media as the next opposition.
rather than an ally.
Rather than an ally.
In development, yes.
So they are not proactive. They see the media as somebody who is out to tarnish the image, who is out to rubbish them. Yeah, that's it. Including the police. That's how they see the media.
All the governments, the state governments, federal, everybody sees the press as their enemy.
Yeah.
And of course, we will always turn out to be their enemy if they are indolent, if they're emptying the cookie jar at will and things are not being done. Some things that are simple, low-hanging things that are clean the environment, make traffic run. Do something.
Yep.
Clear under bridges. These are very easy things that should be done. Then you ask yourself, if they are not doing these things, what are they doing? It's not all about publicity. Going to see a cook that is cooking, and that's not the issue. The issue is getting the work done. And if we hadn't had it before, it wouldn't be so painful. If we hadn't seen governments work before, it wouldn't be so painful. We would have thought maybe there's some magic to it. It just takes determination and focus. But let's move on. Ninth National Assembly, an indolent, weak rubber stamp. This is the point on the National Assembly. They're bringing out, the bottom line is that this National Assembly that we had, this ninth one, they probably think is the worst we ever had. I didn't hear of one controversy with them and the president.
Yeah.
It was assent all the way. Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. I don't know. Even if it was to do a kind of make-believe, nothing. For all you clear, this ninth assembly could have jolly well been a department in the presidency. I won't bother to read the editorial because I'm sure most of you know your feelings about what it is. So let's see if we can use the time to look at some more stories.
Yeah, let's take a look at this one here. Interesting one. It reads, ahead of inauguration, Naira falls to $760.
Okay, so don't panic because usually when there's going to be a change of government, people tend to hedge their bets.
Yep.
So at face value, don't panic. But why you should panic, well, maybe not why you should panic, why you should be slightly worried is the fact that the reason for this is not attributed to what I just said, rather to the fact that one of the BDC operators said on Wednesday it was selling for $7.48 as of 8 p.m., but today it is selling for $7.61 as of 6 p.m. This is because of the mad rush for the currency by politicians. And it says that according to him, the contenders for presiding officers of the National Assembly are reaching out to their colleagues in dollars. When are we going to get out of this kind of mess? So apparently money is exchanging hands and is not in the blue 1,000 naira that Emefiele, it's the green buck. It's the green buck. And it says through their agents, politicians, through their agents, they are mopping up the currency. We were told that the assembly would not be inaugurated until next month. Aside from contenders, people are converting their assets to dollars ahead of the inauguration. They are afraid of the policies the new administration may introduce, and so on and so forth. What did I mean?
What do you need? Do you need...
What I need is not here in public. Would you stop that thing? My friend Bakando. Don't worry, I'll go down the road and drink my own coffee.
Okay.
I'd like to talk about that. We thought we had an EFCC that was huffing and puffing and invariably didn't blow the house down. When are we going to get out of this quagmire of every time something is coming up, our politicians and whatever are mopping up all the dollars in full glare of everybody and we are doing nothing about it? It's a very sad situation.
It is. It is. I think it's just because we have some... the weak institution that we have is the bane in our issues. Because look, so we have foreign airliners who have made their monies. Then
Yes.
we've held on to their money. but then our own people can mop up these dollars.
I mean, on the market.
Does it make any sense?
It doesn't. And our tolerance for crime will ruin us.
Yeah.
We have tolerance for crime, breaking of the law. We have to, and that is quite visible now. Okay, where we are now exhibits that. That's quite visible. I won't say more than that. The tolerance we have for crime. And I can assure you, it's not a matter of, it's not my portion or whatever. It is something that you don't need to be a soothsayer. I don't need to go to any of the pastors who are seeing and any whatever. I can assure you, is what is going to sink this country. We don't believe in law and order, especially the so-called privileged class. In fact, you find, for example, you find that it is hip for you to obey the simplest of instructions in this country. It's the elites that will go one way. Then later the Danfo boys followed. They went first. Danfo boys followed. Even the police go one way. Everybody. I've heard people at the airport, they say, look, only passengers can you go beyond this line. I've heard somebody whisper to the other, that okay, you can go back. He said, no, it's not for people like us. I've heard that from an elite, and I know the person. The day that I've had one green bottle too many and I'm in front of a microphone, the name will come out of my mouth. I'm joking now. Green bottle.
Someone told me on this show this week that even for someone who is trying to behave right, who is trying to obey the law, the country itself makes it very difficult.
Let me give you
the country will frustrate you.
Let me tell you the simplest example. Simplest. You try to go to Cotonou through the Seme border and join the queue to present your passport. Nightfall will meet you and you'll be there since 9 a.m. And they'll be shouting at you. You will be harassed because what it means is that you don't want to drop. You understand?
They'll keep you there.
They'll look for every excuse. This is your shoe. Why is one so? They will find something if you try to go. But you pass your money through the tiles and bingo, and it's everywhere. We just have this tolerance for crime. Our politicians are doing this in the full glare. The EFCC said they were at the primaries. Nobody, to my knowledge, was arrested.
We did not hear.
We didn't hear.
Yeah. Let's be going. That's our show today. That's our show today. Thank you so much for coming. Lagos, that's our show. Thank you for joining us. Let's bring you the news. After the news, we'll go back to our Open Mic Friday, where you can talk about everything and everything. Good morning to you.
This isn't a Game of Thrones. It's the game of information.
The German foreign minister went to Beijing to reaffirm that Europe would not let China invade Taiwan.
And I want to assume that you would run because I want to give the listeners context for the conversation.
In 2019, you were running mate to Atiku Abubakar. What did you learn then that you will not repeat this time?
Yes, when is the president coming out to address us?
There's a few things. One, I have a burden and a passion for young people.
The fact that you have elected a man does not mean then you begin to order him around. The president will do whatever is good for the country at any given time.
Mr. Adeshino, isn't the president responsible to the people?
What should the next president do to root out stakeholders who are complicit?
You fire those that need to be fired are fired. It's looking like a brand new Chelsea, attacking with so much fluidity. And what can you say about that, Martin? I know you follow Chelsea quite closely.
I live close to the Chelsea training ground. That's what you mean by that. I'm not.